Hi and good morning, it's David here from Aussie Blokes Talk. And today, this is day 10 of a 19-day series on happiness. And today it's all about spirituality. It's all about, if I'm a spiritual being in a human body, which you've probably heard before, then what's my purpose of being here? I mean, what on earth would I want to be on earth for if I'm a spiritual being? And my belief is that I'm here to learn and grow. And I believe that everyone is here to learn and grow. And if we're here to learn and grow, what are we here to learn and grow about? And my absolute belief on that, and it's found that through 30 years of practice as a naturopath, as a hypnotherapist, as someone who's gone deeply into the spiritual side of things, is that we're here to learn to grow how to be happy no matter what our circumstances are. And that's the reason why we're doing this happiness thing over 19 days. Because a lot of people are stuck not knowing how to create happiness in their life. And I believe that if I know that I'm here to learn and grow, and if I'm here to learn and grow towards happiness, if that's what I'm here for, to grow towards happiness in whatever form it is for me, then I have to be able to learn lessons to be able to get there. So if I want to learn a lesson, for instance, to make my physical health better, if I've got aches and pains in my body, then there's lessons to learn to overcome the aches and pains. If I've got a problem with anxiety, then there's lessons to learn to overcome the anxiety. If I'm here to learn how to get out of depression, then there's lessons here to learn how to overcome the depression. If I'm here to learn to overcome trauma, then there's lessons here to overcome the trauma. And that's what we are about at Aussie Blokes Talk. We're here to teach those lessons. We're here to teach the skills that we believe will help you do that. So if you have anxiety, depression, trauma, tiredness, fatigue, aches and pains, I believe, and my experience has shown me and my practice has shown me, that there are things that you can do to help you get out of those areas. So yesterday we talked about blame and guilt, but they're not the only ones. There's envy, there's jealousy, there's all different sorts of conditions that I can hold which will stop me achieving happiness, or that happiness will only be temporary, it won't be long term. Whereas if I can come to terms with myself as I am, if I can recognize my own value, if I can recognize my self-worth, if I can understand that everything outside of me is just temporary, and the only thing that is consistent is my thoughts, my belief in myself, my being everything I can be, which is what I believe a spiritual life is, then I'm on track to learn and grow the lessons I need to learn for myself, not for someone else. Because if I'm looking at what someone else thinks of me, I'm not focused on what I think of me. And if I think of me that I'm not good enough, then I can learn a lesson, I can learn a skill that can help me change that. If I think that I can't get out of anxiety, then I will always have anxiety. If I think that I can only be depressed, I will always be depressed. And yet that's not the truth. And the reason I know it's not the truth is because through natural therapies, I've found different ways to help men and women get out of anxiety, get out of depression, get out of trauma. You know, I had a client once who had their arm ripped off in a motor vehicle accident, and they were getting phantom limb pains. And we were able to sort that out in one session because we could go to the cause and release the cause. And the cause wasn't the accident per se, it was what the reaction was to the accident. And that helped, the recognition of that, relief of that helped release the cause. And the person went away much happier than what they started with, because all of a sudden there was no more pain. Now, someone with anxiety comes in, real deep anxiety, so bad that they're actually smoking 30 tokes of marijuana a day just to survive the anxiety that they have. There's got to be a cause. So we find the cause, we release the cause, no more anxiety. And that's how it works. If there is something going on in your life And if you are a spiritual being in a human body here to learn a lesson, and if you are working towards happiness in all the aspects of your life, in all the ways in which you approach life, in all the ways in which you see life, then there have to be skills you can learn to help you overcome what is going wrong in your life. And the difficulty is, the more you focus on what's wrong, the more you focus on what you don't have, or what you do have that you don't want, the more your focus is there, the less your focus is on learning the skills. So when you start to say, I don't want this anymore. I don't want this anxiety anymore. I don't want this depression anymore. I don't want these aches and pains anymore. Then it's a matter of, are you willing to look around and say, how can I get rid of these things? How can I release myself from all that past history that's led me up to the point I am here now? You know, I covered up my stuff, and I covered it up with some anxiety, and I covered it up mainly though with numbness. I numbed all my feelings. I hid them away. I locked them down. I could show moments of happiness. I could show moments of calmness. I could show moments of belief in myself. But underneath it all, my own self-esteem was low. And my self-esteem was low because I hadn't come to terms with what it was I'd gone through. I hadn't come to terms with the lessons I was here to learn. And I hadn't yet developed the skills that it was going to take me to overcome and develop that understanding of myself, that deep down inside there was nothing to fear. Because that's the reality. Deep down inside, there was nothing to fear. And it was only through learning those skills, it was only basically throwing my hat in the ring, throwing some money at the problem, and learning from people who had experienced their own issues and gone through those issues and released themselves from those issues, that I was able to overcome those issues. Because you can, I hear so often from people, yeah, I've been to therapy for 3 or 4 years and I don't feel any better than what I did when I first went in there. Yeah, I've got a bit of mindfulness stuff, but that breaks down, that falls over when something goes wrong in my life. That's not going to help you heal at the deepest level. All that's going to do is put a band-aid over the solution. And a band-aid will work for a while, but when you rip it off, it's painful. If you knew the skill that could help you to become more happy, then embracing that skill will help you move towards happiness. And that's what we're about at Aussie Blokes Talk. We're about teaching skills. We're about teaching and giving you the tools and collectively helping you in any way that we can so that you can have more of the life you want and less of the life you don't want, which is what you've got so far. So often, guys come to us and say, oh, I just don't know what's wrong. I don't know how to deal with life. I don't know how to deal with my relationship. I don't know how to deal with the fact that I don't have any money, or I don't know how to deal with all these different issues. And what is apparent is that the focus is on the issue rather than the solution. We're solution oriented. We're looking at things from the point of view, how can you find a solution to that? How can you find your own personal solution if you're only trying to do it with the energy that you had going in? I couldn't have done it by myself. Now, you can come to us for the skills, or you can go somewhere else for the skills. That's up to you. It's most important, though, I believe, that if I need skills to help me overcome something, that I go looking for someone who's got those skills, because otherwise I'm just going to stay stuck. And if I'm stuck, it's almost impossible to find happiness. It's almost impossible to find happiness within myself if I'm stuck in a quagmire of looking in the wrong place. So I recognized 30 years ago that I had to improve my skills in order to be a naturopath. I learned 20 years ago or more that I had to learn to improve my skills as a hypnotherapist. I learned 20 years ago that if I wanted to understand my spiritual self, I had to go and seek spiritual understanding, spiritual awareness that was focused on helping me grow myself. And I believe that's what we were all here for. My honest belief is that I'm here to find happiness for myself. And it's not going to be brought to me in a relationship in which I'm hooked into the other person. It's not going to be brought to me in a way in which it's only if I have this job or this car or this boat or this house or this way of living. If I can't hop in my car and drive somewhere and bunk down and be happy doing it, then that's not happiness to me. Happiness is, I can be happy most of my life by learning spiritual skills. I will have moments of sadness and I accept them. I will have moments of anxiety and I accept that, because if I go into something new, maybe for a short time there's going to be a bit of anxiety. I will have moments of flatness because things don't go exactly the way I want them to go. And yet as soon as I come into acceptance of that, happiness can return. There will be moments of anger where I'm angry at someone or something, or the unfairness of the world, or the destruction and pollution of the planet. There will be those moments. And then I can go back to my happy state, because I can do what I do to help out and then go back to my life, which isn't to go out and protest, it's to get on with my life and help as many people as I can. And it's like walking along the beach, 5:30 in the morning, walking along the beach, watching the sun come up, being present to the waves, being present to the water washing over me, being present to what I'm going through in life that brings me happiness. And sometimes it's not exactly what I want, but it is what it is. So to me, happiness is about acceptance. It's about understanding and awareness, and acceptance takes a while. Acceptance takes a while because to learn to accept every issue as it presents itself means that I'm not holding on to blame or guilt or shame or hurt or pain or anything else. I'm looking for solutions. I'm saying, yes, I accept that. Yeah, I ran into a tree. I accept I ran into a tree. Now, what do I do? And how do I do it? What's the damage here? Do I have to report it? Don't I have to report it? What do I do? How do I do it? And as long as I take that as my mantra, I'm not going to get stuck in looking at the tree and blaming it for being in my road, or blaming the distraction which caused me to run into the tree in the first place, or pointing the finger at me and saying, you did that, you're stupid. You did that, you're stupid. Which is what I might have done in the past. I don't do that anymore. I've learned differently. And the beautiful thing is, I believe everyone on this planet can learn differently. Because the real issue that stops us from having happiness, I believe, is what we feel about ourselves or what we think about ourselves. And the more I'm focused on what's wrong with me, the more I'm focused on what doesn't work for me, the more I'm focused on what I haven't got, the more I'm focused on what I have got that I don't want, the less room there is in my life for happiness. And because I want happiness, and because I believe that's why we are here spiritually, is to achieve happiness and joy and love and acceptance for ourselves, then my focus has to be on solutions. And that's the focus of Aussie Blokes Talk as well. So, hey, if there's anything you want to add to this, disagree with me, whatever, I don't mind. Rip me to shreds for this. Say, yeah, no, that doesn't work for me. That's not right. Right? Let's have a conversation about this. Let's get into a communication about this, where you are, what you want for yourself. And if we can help you, we will. Because I believe that everyone has the possibility of happiness, providing the energy is focused on solutions rather than problems. So hey, David here, Aussie Blokes Talk, signing out from another day, day 10 on the Happiness Project. See you tomorrow. Bye for now.